All right. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order. Roll call for attendance, please.
All those in attendance, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
And Sue is on vacation, but we have a full board.
All right. We are going
quorum.
to forego the Pledge of Allegiance. No, that's okay. We'll forego the Pledge of Allegiance because we are virtual. However, I will call for a moment of silence for prayer or meditation prior to the start of the meeting. All right, we'll start with announcements and correspondences. Mike, do you have any announcements or correspondences?
I'm good, Nick.
All right, I do have one correspondence to read today. This is from Mike Collins at Portage County Engineer's Office. Everyone should have received this, but I thought it was worth at least sharing for our residents. It reads, "Good morning, Brimfield officials. As you can see by the below email, the two-way to all stops has been activated for 4 weeks. This is in reference to Old Forge and Mogador over there. This afternoon, our traffic department will be removing the temporary notification signage, the flags, prepared to stop, etc. We appreciate the efforts that the police department has given on patrolling this intersection. If anyone should have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Thanks, Mike Collins." So all the signage is coming down over there, and Chris, please share with the officers, thank you for their additional support in that area during that transition from a two-way stop to a four-way stop. And hopefully our residents are becoming more accustomed to that main change over there. That's the only announcement or correspondence I had sent to me today. So we'll move into meeting guests. I do not see any in the virtual room, neither are there any on the agenda. So we will move into meeting minutes. I need a motion to accept meeting minutes.
I will make that motion, Nick.
I will second those. I reviewed them. Roll call.
Okay, those are for the 5/19 regular meeting and the 5/21 emergency meeting.
Right.
All those in
Correct.
favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
All right. I need a motion to accept the agenda for discussion.
I will make that motion.
I'll second that for discussion. Additions and subtractions, we will be adding under executive session number 1, potential business contract.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Purchase orders. I'll make a motion to accept the purchase orders.
And I will second those.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Warrants. I'll make a motion to accept the warrants.
And I will second that.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Public comments and questions. Because of the virtual capacity we've been working in, we've asked residents to submit any public comments or questions in writing to the board to be read into official record. Mike, do you have any comments or questions to be read in today?
No, I have not gotten any this last 2 weeks.
Okay. Neither have I. Has anybody else received anything that should be read into record today?
No, I have not.
All right. Hearing none, we'll move into safety concerns. Has any departments identified any safety concerns? All right. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move into the business portion of the meeting then. Police Department, Captain Atkins, the floor is yours.
Good morning.
Morning.
The chief submitted the report to the Dropbox, so I'll go over some of the things that are on the report. For old business, we've discussed that we're going to forego safety school this year and try to do what we're going to call a kindergarten safety day with the schools. Something that'll be in the fall of 2021 or spring of 2022. Communication has been sent to Dave Hefflinger, the superintendent, and we're still working on that, but we do not have any confirmed dates yet. In new business, Officer Dinkelman completed the school safety assessments, and we applied for a grant from the Ohio AG's office in the amount of $1,200. It's still pending. We don't have an answer on that yet, but it looks like we'll get that money for that grant. We have struggled to get ourselves a grill, a new grill that we want to use for some community events coming up this summer. But Walmart came through for us, and a special thanks to Vince Leidick from who's a manager at Walmart. He got us a grill. Basically, I texted him, and within a few hours, he had told me to come pick up a grill. So we have a brand new 4-burner grill that was donated by Walmart that will be taken out to all of our community events this year to have little cookouts. The annual paper shredding event will be Wednesday, June 9th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be here at the police department. Our partners again this year are Hometown Bank and RJ's Auto Pros, and All Shred is providing the truck. And speaking of the grill being used, we're going to have our neighborhood grill out event at Cranberry Creek on Saturday, June 12th, starting at 12, depending on the weather. We're going to have a canopy set up, some signs and information for the public, and we'll be in the circle at Briar Hill and Dewberry Circle. There's like a little grassy area on that road there. We're going to be sit right that circle, set up, have the grill, do cookout, meet residents. We'll have some hot dogs and drinks and maybe a couple other things, but just a nice little event for the community up there in Cranberry Creek to come out and interact with us.
What day are you doing that?
It will be Saturday, June 12th, starting at noon.
Okay.
And other than what's on the report, the only thing I'll add and advise the board is it appears that the traffic changeover on Tallmadge Road is going to happen next Monday. I believe that'll be Monday night, so starting Tuesday morning, but it's possible it'll be Sunday night. So that will move all the traffic on Tallmadge Road near the Mogador Road intersection to the south side of the road. So we're going to cut off both north side Tallmadge Road lanes, and that'll extend from Sunnybrook all the way to Walmart Drive. So it's going to be a huge traffic disruption. It's going to be a couple months long as they start working on the north side of Tallmadge Road. So basically, when you go underneath the bridge, it'll be one westbound, one eastbound lane under the bridge for all traffic on Tallmadge Road.
Wow.
So that work will probably start at night. So we'll likely have an officer out there with them. We had an officer out with them when they did the work on 76, putting up the barricades. So we'll probably have an officer out there and help them get the changeover and get all the barrels out and get ready for the chaos.
Now, Chris, did I get you right? It's only going to be done at night, or is it going to be done?
No, it's going to be done all day. The actual setup will be done at night. Usually they start around 7 or 8 o'clock at night to make the traffic changes over.
So there'll still be traffic going both ways, or it'll be just one way at a time?
But there'll still be one lane eastbound, one lane westbound, instead of the 4 lanes we have now in the turn lanes. So there'll still be two-way direction. We're just cutting it down to 1 lane each direction.
Wow, that's going to be a mess.
Not ODOT is.
That's going to be a mess.
Yes, we saw when they were doing some construction down there to start off, that traffic was backing up past the tracks and past Cascades. It got really messy down there when they just were getting rid of the islands. They saw they removed the islands down there and put the cement down and cones out.
Wow.
It's going to back traffic up quite a bit.
Wow.
Are they going to change the lighting sequence some to help keep traffic flowing? Is that part of the plan, or we don't know at this point?
They didn't say, but I assume they will, because there's going to be some different movement now because we're getting rid of some turn lanes, or there'll still be a little bit of a turn lane right at the intersection, but I assume that they're going to have to adjust the timing. And we know there'll be a big timing change once they're totally done. But it may be something they work through to see how it works for a few days and say, I need to make some adjustments.
Are they going to have
for 2 months, huh?
I think you said, Mike, for 2 months. I'm not sure exactly how long that one is. I believe that's going to be a little bit longer on Tallmadge Road. I know the closure on Mogador Road, where they're going to shut down the north side of Mogador Road, is supposed to be around 45 days. but I believe that the traffic on Tallmadge being adjusted is going to be longer than 2 months.
I think it's going to be basically the duration of the project, because once they get the one side done, I believe they have to flip the traffic to the other side and then work on the other side. So this is going to be a pretty long process to get through.
Yeah, from what I've been told, they have to do a lot of drainage work and some underground work, which is the main reason they have to move the traffic over to start digging the road up on the other side.
Is this going to create overtime issues for us? Are we going to, or not overtime, but extra detail? Are we going to be working that the entire time or just during night work at this point?
Well, they've only used us now for the times they've had construction. So there's been 3 details so far, and they've all been on 76. The first one was when they added the pavement strip to widen the road. The second one was when they actually striped the road to shift the lanes. And the third one was when they actually put the Jersey wall up. So they've used us, and there's all been 3 individual nights. They have said they will use us for the changeover on Tallmadge Road. So we will have a detail that night. Going forward, it's kind of a as they need us type of thing.
Okay.
The only one I know so far is the one coming up to move the traffic to the south side of the road.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's nice extra money for the officers, but I just worry about burnout for them too. We get bombarded with a lot of these extra details.
And
well, there haven't been a lot of them so far. I actually worked a couple of them because we were. It's vacation season here, so there's overtime at the department, so there weren't a lot of people signing up for them. So I ended up working a couple of them. They were open.
Okay.
But maybe 1 or 2 more. I know it's not going to be. I mean, we have other details every weekend that are the constant ones, like the wedding events. But right now, I don't see an issue with those, and they're all paid by ODOT, so it's nothing coming out of our budget.
Okay. All right. How is that intersection at Mogador and Old Forge changing over to the 4-way stop? Have you heard anything, problems out there, or has that been pretty smooth?
No, it has been smooth. The first week we had a lot of patrol down there. A lot of stops, I don't think we wrote any tickets, maybe 1 or 2, but it was mostly a lot of warnings. Didn't have any accidents, surprisingly. But if you go down there now, people have got it. They're slowing down coming into that 35 zone, which is the first time ever in the history here that people actually did 35 in that zone. So they're slowing down, and the people coming up from Newton and coming over the hill on Old Forge or Eastwood, they've got the hang of it. It's actually really helped because the traffic is slowing down in that area because of the 4-way stop. The very first week, the county was doing some work on the berms, so it kind of added a little bit more to the situation going down there. So it even helped slow the traffic more down, but we really aren't seeing any problems from it. It's going smooth.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. All right, do we have any other questions or comments for the police department today?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris, for giving today's report.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Gals.
Yep. All right, Craig, floor is yours, fire department.
All right, good morning. Old business, we have nothing. New business, the only thing I have is we had a pre-bid meeting for the fire station admin building last Wednesday. We had approximately 5 general contractors who showed up with 12 in total. When I say 12 in total, there were some specialized people that came in, maybe an air conditioner contractor, roof contractor, but 5 generals showed up. So now it's Moody Nolan's job to take those and take a look at who they are and research them. Now, what I need to ask the board is bids are due by June 17th. They set a bid date and time of June 17th at 2 p.m. Do we want to have our bid opening, right prior to a trustee meeting like we always do? Or
I would.
So do it at a trustee meeting?
Yeah, I would.
I don't want to do a 2 o'clock in the afternoon special meeting.
No, let's do it early.
Well, the only thing we have to ask is we have to find out how we can change that because they've already put the bid notice out. So we just need to verify legally we can change that without creating a major headache for those people that are bidding. Because I know if they picked up their bid packets, they're probably just anticipating to be there on 2 p.m.
Well, and the problem with that is our trustee meeting's on the 16th. So if we go past the 17th, we have to wait 2 more weeks to do it at a trustee meeting. So we would have to probably have a special meeting either way, but I need to figure out from you guys what works best.
I mean, if I know ahead of time, I can make anything work.
I know Fridays are good for you, so.
Yeah, but I mean, if we already have it advertised on the 17th, I mean, I can make that work. I don't want to create additional headache, and I know that we can't open them any sooner than the 17th
Right.
because they have to have so much time period to get those in.
Well, I don't want to wait
yeah,
another 2 weeks because then that just puts them another 2 weeks behind. We're already kind of behind.
well,
If I
and
may-
the other concern is I don't like sitting on those bids for too long either. You know, if there's a deadline, then people try to squeeze them in on Friday or the next Monday. I think that causes an issue too.
So
Go ahead,
does-
Mike.
yeah, I don't mean to interject with that, but usually with the bids that I've opened in the past, you still have to look the bids over and make sure that there weren't major errors compared to the design. So I don't know how you might want to check with them and see if they're allowed to award the bid immediately after, or if they want to look over the bids first.
No, we would.
So I
need
think they were going to look them
time to-
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want us to physically open them, read the cost off on the 17th, then they're going to review them, and then we would award them most likely at our next trustee meeting. So that would give them
Make it
13
have to look
days,
them over.
yeah, to review them to get them ready for the next trustee
All right.
meeting to award a bid.
Sorry. All right, thanks.
That's okay.
No, I appreciate,
appreciate the
Mike,
feedback.
because this is a big project. I don't want to rush it either, but I want to get it done.
So
So
Mike
anyways-
Kosinski, could you make that on on the 17th at 2 p.m.?
I'm gonna be in Maine. I don't, we're gonna be on a beach up in Maine. I can't promise I can get online. I don't know what, my Wi-Fi thing is or anything. You know what I mean?
Well, and this is
Right.
going to tie into what we discussed later about in-person meetings. So are we going to do that in person or?
I mean, I personally, I'm okay with what Nick and Sue come up with because I think we all think the same.
Well,
Well,
again,
and
we're just
we're not
bid
making
opening.
any
Right.
We're not
right.
making any decisions. We're just opening them. So, Mike, if you're gone that entire week, we're going to have to do it while you're gone anyways, because I don't want to delay it any longer than we need to, because
Well,
we need to give
well-
them ample time to review them.
Well, Nick, what I will do is I can take my computer, and if I can zoom it up there, I just don't know what the Wi-Fi is up there.
Mike,
you
you
know.
can just do it on your phone too. You don't need your computer.
Yeah, I could do
Yeah,
that.
if you have the Zoom app, you could just zoom in on your phone, because I mean, it's a short meeting anyways. That would be a way that you could attend.
Okay.
All we're going to do is just open them and accept them for review. So
Yeah. Well, it might be easier, if I don't have to take, I don't know. Just, someone can text me what the bids were.
I can put you on speakerphone on my phone and you can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
will, I will confirm dates and times in, and I'll text you guys and see what works for everybody.
We're tentatively putting it out there at 2 o'clock on the 17th.
Yeah, that's technically what.
Well, that's what was advertised. So if we change anything, we're going to have to do a lot of legwork to change that. And my schedule's open on the 17th right now.
I'm good as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I will still confirm with everybody on the
Okay.
back. And that's all I had for the fire department right now. If I can move right into admin.
Yep.
I only have one thing on admin, and we may have more, but we need to discuss. It is June 2nd, and this kind of ties all together with probably Parks and Rec and everything else. Well, the whole township, but mask discussion. We knew we were going to bring that back as of today. The mandate has been lifted. I want comments on what the trustees want us to do.
Well, from what I've seen, let me pull this back up from last night. The health orders ended as of June 2nd. Major overchanges are mask wearing and social distancing will no longer be required for K through 12 or childcare. Bars, restaurants, and entertainment venues be able to return to full capacity. Masks are no longer required for unvaccinated individuals. Gatherings will no longer be limited in size, and masks will no longer be required on public transportation. The only health orders remaining in place are for nursing homes and assisted living facilities. However, businesses, organizations, and schools can set their own requirements for the health orders.
Okay, let me jump in there, because I also read a
Yep.
little bit more. So that part that you said is not required for vaccinated individuals.
It's not required for unvaccinated now.
Right. So yeah, so it's a recommendation now at this point for even unvaccinated. Am I saying that right?
Correct.
So I don't want to play that game if we don't have to. So I guess what I would like to jump in there and give me your comments beyond this is I would like to hopefully the trustees allow the department heads to kind of make their own decisions on what we feel safe with, following the recommendations.
But
From
shouldn't-
a
shouldn't
legal
it-
perspective, we said that we were going to follow whatever the state did.
Right.
So
Right. Well, we said we'd follow what Portage County did because they're the authority
Yeah.
having jurisdiction.
that's true. That's true.
But has Portage County come out with anything yet?
They haven't said anything. They've always followed the state orders. So, I mean, unless they came out with a specific mandate, and they haven't sent anything to us. So therefore they default to the state orders.
Yeah, I mean, in the city of Kent, I still haven't heard anything there either. So maybe everyone's.
I guess
So I guess we should go by whatever the CDC says.
My recommendation is that we follow the state of Ohio health orders, which means we'd lift those restrictions on all of our facilities, which would allow us to have full gathering at our events again, at our rental properties. But I would strongly encourage our employees to have masks available at those events, still deploying hand sanitizer stations when we have events. And then depending on your interaction with people, I think, we should have that. If we're going on certain medical calls with the fire department, I think that's still a good precaution for people.
and that's where I'll
But
jump in
I
there.
leave that up to department heads.
Yeah, and that's where I'll jump in there and say I need to write a new SOP, but I think I need to specifically write it toward, those kind of calls. So to put a blanket out there, I need to think about that. If you guys allow us to do that, I'll make something.
The one thing I still think we have to be careful. I mean, the more you read, I still don't think we're entirely out of the woods here yet. So don't be throwing anything away or.
Oh, we're stockpiling still. Actually,
I
I
would-
want to buy more when it's cheaper. So,
Yeah, I would stockpile because I don't trust this virus.
right. It'll be
Hey,
something
Chris,
else.
Chris, are you still on the line also?
Yep, I'm still here.
What's your thoughts on this? Because this is going to have a direct effect also on the PD.
Well, the chief will make the ultimate decision on this, what we do internally, but as call wise, I feel like since the majority of the department is vaccinated, that he would probably lean towards following the CDC guidelines for mask use. With still, if we respond to squad calls, that we're going to mask up there, especially if there's any kind of possibility it could be a COVID type call. When it comes to our interaction at businesses, I think that he might yield with the CDC there, that if we have to respond to a call inside of say Meyer or something like that, that we follow their guidelines, where their guidelines are if you're vaccinated, then you don't have to wear a mask. But I think that we think along the lines of that, but I'm going to defer to him. But I would guess that he's going to say that we follow the CDC guidelines, but also still always have the PPE available. So if we're on a squad call or interaction with people in our hotels, which is where a lot of our interaction is, that we still could use it, but maybe not mandatory. No, it's kind of an ambiguous answer, but I think that he would defer to what the CDC says now.
And I think you bring up a good point, Chris, and I think this is important too, is that no matter what our decision is, we still need to respect the businesses. So if a business is mandating them, even if we're going on a call, we should have them on inside those businesses. I don't think we're going to have a lot of those in the area, but those that do mandate them still, I think our staff, when they're working for us, when they're on the clock, will have to abide by those guidelines.
Yeah, and like Craig said, that we have to adjust our general order too. Our general order hasn't changed on mask use. That might be something that we would make an adjustment to based on how the board feels about this.
I mean, I'm comfortable at this point saying it's going to be department specific, but as a township piece, we're going to lift all those requirements because that's what the state of Ohio has done. They've lifted the requirements. But with strong encouragement to our departments, once again, you know, be smart about it. You look at your SOPs, figure out those situations in which we should still be wearing facial coverings. To the Parks Department, making sure that we're providing proper PPE and options for those that want to attend events but may still be uncomfortable. What are your thoughts, Mike?
I think it makes sense. You know, I don't know. I'm like you. I think we need to follow what they say with a lot of caution.
Right. Well, in our current health policy that we instituted said that we would follow the state of Ohio's health orders. So I mean, there's really no motion or change needed here. But it does bring up the secondary question of going back to in-person meetings. From what I've read, we have till July 1st to continue virtual meetings. There is an extension to December 31st. It's tied into the state of Ohio budget bill. I don't know with the health department guidelines changing now, if they're going to strip that from the budget bill. That's sitting with the Senate. It hasn't passed yet from my last read of it. So that's a question that we got to examine. So no matter what, right now we're against the July 1st deadline, potentially December 31st, depending on how that budget bill goes. So do we want to transition back to in-person meetings?
Well, we are set up down there at the community center, right? That's what right.
Yeah, we're set up for in-person. The problem becomes it's a little more complex if somebody needed to attend virtually, because that's going to involve some more tech. You know, I know Brian could get it together if we really had to do it, as he falls out of his seat probably right now. But I think it's easier if we can do all in person or all virtual from a tech standpoint. We can eventually get to the point where we could have kind of a mixture of that. But, you know, I think right now it would be putting us all down there in the same room together.
I mean, we can be in the room together according to their guidelines.
Yes, we can.
So I don't see why we just don't. I would do it all in person. I mean, how many virtual guests have we had? You know, I think they need to come down. I mean, we need to open up again. I mean, it's up to you guys.
My recommendation would be that we hold all of our trustee meetings in person. However, still give us the option for virtual in case something is to happen.
Right.
Or, you know, just when those special or emergency meetings come up, sometimes it's easier for you or I or Sue to hop on virtually than try to get to the town hall, especially if we need to do an emergency meeting. So I wouldn't strip us from the ability to do emergency meetings or special meetings virtually, but go back to our regular meetings in person.
Yeah, I mean, we always have to keep that option open because we don't, like you said. I mean, I was just reading, you know, there's a couple places like Vietnam is locking down again. I mean, there's a lot of places that are locking down. We just have to be cautious.
Throw in a little
John,
input here.
Oh, go ahead.
If we could always have the option for a Zoom connection, I think that would be great. The only one of the good things that I've seen come out of the lockdown was the ability for us to keep working virtually. We were able to do interviews with possible candidates and keep moving that I probably could not have arranged getting, you know, 3 sergeants together for an interview without Zoom. And it actually really helped. And I'd like to keep using that in the future for certain aspects of our hiring process because it really, really helps with scheduling. And I know we haven't had very many guests, but if we do go back to full meetings, the ability to have someone attend virtually who couldn't attend physically would be really, really helpful.
Yeah, and I think that's the direction we're going to move towards. There's some logistic pieces that we got to work with Brian on for the community center. The problem is the community center is going to be our meeting place temporarily during this construction process. So it's just more lines to run there just for a 1 to 2 year piece. However, we do intend, unless there's a change here at this meeting, to continue live streaming the videos, recording these, posting these. That's never going away. I think it's been effective. And I think as departments, I would never say, no, don't use Zoom or any of that technology. I think these pieces allow us to get a better selection of candidates. It allows us to keep things moving at a good pace. And let's be honest, this is the world. I'm seeing a lot of companies that I consult with are not going back to offices, even though they have the ability to. Virtual is going to become more of a standardized piece. We're seeing AT&T and Spectrum running more broadband lines to give more stable networks for everybody. This is just the direction that we're going.
Yeah. Okay.
So are we good to have our next meeting, which is going to be on June 16th of 2021? Everyone would meet at the community center in person, open to the public. Our meetings have always virtually been open. We just haven't had people in person. Are we ready to allow people into the building?
I'm ready. I'll be missing the meeting, but you know, I think it's time.
Say yes.
Okay.
Do we got
I'm
to
ready
make
for
a
it.
motion?
I think we probably should just make a motion because we'll have to re-advertise, John. We're going to have to republicize our meeting. So to Kirsten and Rochelle out there, if you're listening, we're going to have to draft up a meeting notice and publicly put it in the paper again, and make sure that we're identifying the change too, that the meeting location is now going to be the community center, and use our community center address, and that will be open to the public. Cassie, you're going to have to block off the community center every other Wednesday for trustee meetings. And then we're going to have to make sure we get there early enough to deploy chairs and tables. With the chairs, we still should try to socially distance. Let's not squeeze people in there. And we'll see how that goes with the public attendance.
I think the public notice should also mention that it is still being live streamed on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you, Brian, for that. John, make sure that they add that in there too. So you can attend either virtually or in person. I think, and so my motion will be this. The motion is to resume in-person meetings at the Brimfield Community Center while maintaining live streaming as a secondary option for our community.
Yeah, I will second that motion.
And Brian, we still, even with the live streaming, we will still record and then post to YouTube. I don't think that's the piece that this township should ever move away from. I think it helps with transparency and it allows our community to either attend during the meeting or in the evening, whatever that may be.
Understood.
Okay.
Any other comments on that?
Nope, I think it's the right choice.
Dave, are you good with this? All right. Kathy, any questions, comments?
I was just going to say, I already have every Wednesday and Thursday blocked off at the community center so that when we start resuming BZA and zoning commission and stuff like that in person, it's already all blocked off.
And that's going to be a secondary point. We'll talk about the BZA and zoning commission next. Let's get through this motion first, but thank you for mentioning that. Mike, any comments outside of the BZA or zoning commission? We'll get to that in a second.
No. Nope.
Okay. Roll call for the motion.
Those in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So now we need to have a discussion about how we're going to handle zoning commission and board of zoning appeals. Right now, the legislation ends on July 1. So we would have to transition that way unless the budget passes before the end of June. Mike Ladd, what's your thought on getting the BZA and zoning commission back in person at the community center?
Well, I just want to interject, Nick. I mean, they are a separate board. Do we let them make that decision?
I think that's a decision that we made as a board of trustees. And I think that we have to, I mean, we could get their feedback on it, but
Because
ultimately,
I do know they're a separate political board. I don't know. I just want to be clear that we do the right thing. Mike,
well,
Mike,
the
what do
zoning
you
commission,
think? What does Mike think?
Well, I think clearly the zoning commission would be happy to go more in person, and then some of the members of the BZA would like to stay remote. So the boards have different opinions on this, but I could certainly ask them all. I mean, I'm okay going in person and opening things up. So,
But then maybe we should let you ask them first, Nick, and then you guys can decide at the next meeting. Just get their feedback.
we could do that. And because I mean, the June meetings had to be advertised probably by already.
Right.
So we just need to make the decision before we advertise July meetings. However, Mike, make sure you let them know that depending on how the state budget goes, we may have to be back in person anyway, starting July 1. I mean, that might be out of our control. I know there's been a lot of letters to the state representatives about this to keep virtual as a ongoing forever option for governmental bodies because it allows for more involvement in your local communities, more attendance that way. But we'll see what that legislation looks like.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions about this? So effective today, it sounds like the health orders have been lifted, so facial coverings are not required unless you're entering a private business that requires those. We no longer have to do the temperature checks and keep those logs. All that information that you did collect over this time period, though, to the department heads, make sure you're storing that. We should have a records retention on that for a few years at least in case of any audits.
Right.
All right. Any other things under administration then?
I didn't have anything else. I just wanted to see where we're at on that, and we know where we're at. So I'm good.
All right. I just had one question under this. It won't require a vote, just an update. How close, Mike, are we on the sign easements? Are we close to getting those signs done?
Yeah, so the engineer is done on the drawings and the language for the legal descriptions, and Mark is drafting up the easement for signature. Should be wrapped up next couple days here.
So Mike,
Okay.
that sign in front of the new nursing home or senior citizen home,
Yes,
I mean, they've okayed that?
yes.
Okay.
The only one that we don't have a signature on and we can't get a hold of is the property owner down coming out of Tallmadge on 18. That's the only one that we're having trouble with. We might have to move locations of the sign, but Mike Wolland is working on that. So he did send letters out to the property owner.
Aren't they the people that were sort of upset with all the building?
No, this one just owns a vacant piece of land there. They live in Tallmadge. I'm going to try to actually go over and knock on their door and get.
Well, that's where we really need a sign.
Yes. That's the only one. The other three are good. It's just that one I'm working on. We might, like I said, we might have to move the location too. So
We'll go down with a cop car. That'll get their attention.
yeah.
Hey,
other side of-
Mike, the one side in front of the nursing home, I mean, our property line is actually Malloy Road. Wouldn't you be better to move it down that way instead of right in front of the nursing home?
Yeah,
Just
it
a
is.
thought.
So we did. We moved it at the intersection.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's on the corner. Because the
That's
reason
where it belongs.
Yeah, there's water and sewer lines going straight through where the sign is right now. So we had to move it. We had no choice because it would have got, it would have been right over something. And if the water line would break, then we'd have a problem with the sign. So we didn't want to do that.
Okay. Wonderful.
So we just have verbal authorization right now. We need to get the legal signatures, then we can start the work, correct?
Yeah, as soon as we get the signatures, I'm assuming this week we'll have them all, or at least those three. Then we'll get going. But yeah, we do.
So yeah,
we do have verbal.
I'd like to try to get those signatures in place by next trustee meeting and start to work on those as soon as possible. So
Okay.
even if we only have 3 signatures, I say we move forward with the project, we'll work on the 4th one. It's going to take them a while to build the other 3 anyways.
Yeah, the concern, and I know I talked to GDI about it, the concern they had is that the building materials keep, fluctuating and going up. So he wanted to get going on it too. So the prices don't change, but
Okay, since we already have the sign on that 4th location, they've already okayed it once. I mean, all we're doing is replacing a sign.
Well, there's no easement though.
So they might have verbally said we could have done it, or we just put it up in the past, but we can't find any legal documents that we're allowed to have that sign there.
Yeah,
That's
because
the
see,
issue.
when we put that sign up before, we took another sign down. So that's been on that property for a long time.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some laws in there that, once you take the property like that over years, it does become yours. It's just I wouldn't want to go down that road though with the property owners. I'd rather have it in the easement form,
Okay. Well, let's hopefully
The
get this thing cleaned up quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been the delay on it. Is we've been trying to do it through the legal process and giving the township easements on each of those properties. That way that they don't have to deal with this in 20 years from now. We'll have a legal easement on each of those.
Well, if they don't give us one, is it worth considering just moving it closer to Brimfield or somewhere to get? Because
Yeah.
when they buy all this material, you want them to buy enough material for 4 signs,
Right.
I thought we'd have this cleaned up by now.
He'll get the material for all 4 signs. He would just start excavating on the,
Okay.
on the 3 first. That's all.
Okay.
All right. So we should have some movement on this at the next meeting then.
Yes.
All right. So that'll move us right into zoning and economic development. So Mike Ladd, floor is yours.
Thanks, Nick. So the virtual Board of Zoning Appeals hearing is June 16th at 7 o'clock. The virtual zoning commission meeting is June 10th at 7 o'clock. Regional planning meeting is June 9th. We have 3 replats to be considered. A lot of people are merging and splitting off properties. Those 3, we have sublots 20 and 23 in Brimfield Estates. We have Cranberry Creek Phase 4 on. That is lots 26 and 27 as replat. And then we have Maple Crest subdivision number 1 replats of 7. And then 19 and 36. So that is all the Maple Crest West doing the replats as well. Heritage of Brimfield Nursing Home is scheduled to begin work here soon. It should be right on schedule. Redwood Apartments continues to install utilities and grade. Hickory Hill subdivision continues to install utilities and grade, and we have inspection on that. Jiffy Lube is going to be starting construction soon. We do have their final drawings in here along with Wave Wash. There's some minor things. We're going through their signs now, and they do need some variances. There's some variance requests on for the next meeting for that. And then our permit fee is $166,061.20. So still doing real good.
Any
All right.
start date on all these?
No, I have all these drawings here though, but we have to wait for the replats at regional planning. Once we get that redone, and then the county engineer signs off on the county portion of those roads going in. As we go back to just Cricket, part of that is going to be a dedicated road, and then there's a new road going in the back. So once all that's approved, then we can start off on all these. But
that will be in front of Menards, right?
That's going to be to the right hand side. So as you're pulling out of the driveway out of Menards, and it's a right turn only drive, it'll be on the right hand side.
Oh, okay.
And a brand new sublot.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
they
Mike,
should do-
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask about the subdivision regulations because you brought up the engineer. When is that? Is that meeting today with the commissioners, or when is that? And are you going to be able to be in attendance to make sure that our voice was heard on that?
Yeah, I'm going to try to attend that. It was scheduled for today, so I'm going to try to hit that.
What time is that scheduled for?
There's supposed to be invites sent out from Todd, but I have not seen those come out. But
I didn't get anything either, but I just want to make sure we're there because we need to make sure that our voice is heard on this piece, especially when it comes to those few concerns that we had.
Yes.
So if you can call me later and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, and I did talk to the Home Builder Association as well as Mike Woland, who is there with the developer. I told him we couldn't sign off on it. There was not enough time for the trustees to sign off on this and get it to the meeting in time. So
okay,
but I will find out and get back to you. Yeah.
Hey,
okay,
Mike,
yeah. I just want to make sure somebody's there.
Okay.
Mike, the auction signs went down, and I don't think they had it. Wasn't it supposed to be today for that piece on Old Forge?
Oh, yeah. So we just update on that. I did meet with the auctioneer, and we met down at regional planning, described everything along the landlocked parcels as well as the flag-shaped lots. Told them we couldn't do that. They rescheduled for August, and they're getting us the drawings to us, and they're going to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the flag-shaped lots as well as go to the county for the replat. So,
How many lots do you think they're putting in? Just sticking with 7?
yeah, the last I seen was 5, because they're going to sell off maybe a piece or 2 to the German Society before it even goes to auction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Does that touch their property in the back
yes.
from Greenfield? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least we got their attention. They're, you know, seemed like they were receptive to coming in and doing what they needed to do.
That's good.
And then, you know, update, I'll give you an update on all of the zoning. Lauren and I have been going out. We've been hitting it pretty hard. We do have quite a bit going back to court, and some of them are complying. So I'll have a better update next time, but we're just trying to clean everything up. We do have down there going by Dylan's across the street next to the outpost. We have all those cars at town center. He has removed 62 cars to date. So he's working on it, and letters from the prosecutor's office continue to go out on that property. So
Yeah, I don't know where they're removing them. It still looks like a lot of cars.
there's still a lot of them. Yeah, I ran into him yesterday and talked to him, and he said
You sure he's
working
not
on it.
removing them and moving new ones in?
I haven't
you
seen
ever-
any new ones come in yet, but yeah, he said they're down 60 some cars. So
I don't know where.
It still looks like he's got 100 to go. It looks
Yeah, I mean, geez.
a lot. Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't seem like we have much ammunition to stopping some of this stuff. It just delays.
I think
over and
that
over.
Well, and that brings up a comment. Mike Ladd, I know you saw the letter, and I actually talked with them. The chairman of the zoning commission from Randolph called me. They're frustrated, and they're asking the townships to kind of come together to talk with the prosecutor's office about their delay in a lot of these legal proceedings. Their residents, when they try to institute follow up on their zoning rules and regulations, are basically saying the prosecutor's office won't do anything, so we don't care, and we're just going to do what we want. So they're running into a lot of the time delays that we're facing here too. So we talked for quite some time. She was pretty frustrated with the prosecutor's office and their delay in responding to their concerns.
I know it's not fair. I mean, I don't know. They got to get a handle on something over there at the county.
Well, I asked her to take it back to her board of trustees so that they could maybe send something to us and the township association. I don't know if we need to draft a letter from all the townships expressing frustration or something, but we need more support from the prosecutor's office, especially when it comes to these cases and related to zoning, because they're getting a lot of pushback from their residents now.
I mean, Nick, is it just one person over there, or what do you think? Is it just
No, she said it was a problem when they had their previous representative. Now we have the new representative. He's a little more responsive to phone calls and emails, but it still just isn't getting through the court system. The delay is way too long. Just like we're seeing here, we had to basically reissue notice on 3 or 4 houses about demolition because the prosecutor took too long to get it through the court system.
Have you talked with Sabrina on this?
I was waiting first to get some more information from Randolph because, it's one thing if Brimfield's just complaining about it. It's different when we have multiple communities complaining about it. So I'm trying to gather enough info to take to her. I know that what the response most likely will be is that we need to take it to Bigalucci and talk to him because it's his department. But I think we need to have the proper info first. But I say all this to say it's not something that's a problem here in our departments. It's at the county level. We're seeing it not only with Brimfield, but we're seeing it now with Randolph. I know Rootstown has had some issues in the past. So I'm hearing this pop up in more and more areas as I talk with more communities. We have an issue.
Well, what about with the township? Your township association, can you bring it up there and get feedback when you get the whole group?
So that's what I suggested to the Randolph. It was take it to your trustees, express your frustration again with them, have them reach out to me, and then we can propose it as a Portage County Township Association concern, because then we can have the voice of all the townships together, bringing this forward to the prosecutor's office and the commissioners about the delay in response to our concerns.
And I would put a letter together that we can post on social media. Let them know that,
right.
We see what's going on and it's your county that's not following through.
Well, and that's why, originally we thought, isn't an issue because we push on the county on some issues. Was it just a Brimfield isolated piece? But now I'm hearing it from other communities too. So obviously there's some room for improvement. And I get legal systems can be slow. Government is slow. It's just the nature of the beast. However, it shouldn't be this slow that residents are just saying we'll do whatever we want now.
Right. You know, home rule, I mean, would this solve some of these problems?
Home rule would
Something-
solve the problem for us, not the other townships,
Right.
because under home rule, we would have our own law director, which means they're an employee of us and we have control over it. Right now,
Right.
they're an employee of the county. We can't really tell them what to do other than just keep asking them to do it
But we
properly.
could have a part-time law director, and I don't know. I just hate going by these blighted areas and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And I know Mike's doing everything he can. It's just
Right.
just drag our feet, and then it's our residents that have to suffer. You know, the people that live
Right.
next door to them and stuff.
Yeah, it's frustrating that we put together solid cases. I've seen the files Mike Ladd and his staff and Lauren have put together. They have all the evidence, they have all the info, and it just goes to the county and it sits there. So some of it's the courts probably. I get the courts are backed up with dates, but it shouldn't be this big of a delay. It's what you get because we basically get free legal service from the county, right? Well, we're going to be at the bottom of their list probably.
Yeah, but they're created to help take care of us. You know, I mean,
Right.
we shouldn't be any more at the bottom of the list than anybody else. I mean, without us, they have nothing to do. Well, they make enough problems for themselves, so they have plenty to do. Right, Brian?
So yeah, that's just I just wanted to bring it up that I had that conversation and had that letter. There's frustration not just from Greenfield but from other communities now too. So
Right. Have we? Well, I don't know, Mike. Have you heard anything more on our demolition?
Yeah, so we're gonna be sending the letters out on those homes, the ones that we voted on last time. Mark has got that letter ready.
Okay.
And then we're
And
going.
those will be certified or
Yeah,
whatever.
then we're advertising for the one on 1435. I'm just getting the legal description ready for that.
Tell 1435 Tallmadge Road.
Yes.
Have you heard back from him?
No,
Unbelievable.
no, they're just parking there. You know, they're just waiting. I think, I don't know, trying to aggravate, I guess. So, yeah.
hey Mike, is the property on the corner? I was just back in Beechcrest last night on the corner of Brookdale and Duffield. There's a house right on the corner there. The grass is probably 3 to 4 feet high all around that property, and it's just looking pretty rough. Has that come into your office yet?
We do have some complaints on high grass, but nothing as far as vacant or anything like that. So we
If you
could
get a chance,
probably
drive
send
by it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go past, take some pictures when we're out. There's not much we could do with high grass, but if it's abandoned or something, I could get search warrants. So
Yeah, and when we say high grass, I mean we're talking 3 to 4 feet. So I think the concern is going to be the growth of wildlife back there for the residents that live
it
next
must
door.
not be, it must be vacant unless somebody's sick in there, you know, so.
Unless it's a hayfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I don't know if it's just a welfare check that may need to happen there too, just to make
That's
sure,
fine.
but it stuck out when I drove by last night.
Okay.
Yeah, boy, that's good. I'm glad you saw that, Nick. I mean, anyone who's driving around should, you know, as a township, we should all work together. If we see anything, we know, let's make sure we let Mike know about it, because that's a lot
Absolutely.
of property for one person to keep track of.
Yep. And we're doing better at it. We have a ton of them. It's just that, like Nick said, if we could get the backlog through, I think things would clean up really quick.
Right.
So
You're doing a good job.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions for zoning and economic development? All right. Hearing none, we'll move into road department. Dave, floor is yours.
All righty. I forgot to put this on the thing. The county commissioners did okay Maple Crest Parkway subdivision, so now the road is ours. Now we maintain it from this point on, so all the way up to the culvert pipe. So it added another 1,159 feet of roadway, but there is 5 lanes there, so it's about a mile altogether. Just wanted to let you know that they did pass that, and it's ours now to mess with. So Any
Wonderful.
problem here now is ours. Also in old business, I just want to let you know, we completed the cemetery work that we were doing and the soccer field, which Cody did a hell of a job. Whoops, sorry about that. Cody did a great job on that. I sent him, turned him loose, and he got it graded off and made it look really nice. So the only other thing I got for trustees today is on the agenda is a chip and seal project 2021. I mean, I can read off all the roads and stuff. I need to get the okay for the county can start gathering information, give us a quote, and then work on bid books later on if we decide to move forward. Right now, the roads would be Malloy Road from Sandy Lake Road to the Kent City limits, Klein Road from Malloy to the Franklin Township limits, Congress Lake Road from Sachs Road north to Old Forge, Sunnybrook Road from Mogador Road to the Kent City limits, Selnick and Dussel from Tallmadge to State Route 43, and Sherman Road from Tallmadge Road to State Route 43. And that would come out to 9.53 miles of roadway to be chipped. This way it maintains our roads a little better. Some of the roads will get center line and edge lines, and well, all of them except Selnick and Dussel, which would only get a center line painted back on them. And then,
Hey, Dave,
yeah,
I mean, I just don't want people to start screaming. When you're saying chip and seal, it's that different process of chip and seal. It's not the old fashioned chip and seal.
it's the polymer chip and seal that we
Right.
use on the other roads where it adheses to the road way better, less stone and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, just so we're clear on that, because once people hear chip and seal, they're
no,
gonna flip out.
yeah, it's not the old spray oil down and throw rocks on it and hope it sticks. This stuff it's a scientific process. There's only so much stone they put down per square foot and all that stuff. So it's all set. And the polymer holds stone a lot better. And plus, most of the companies, what they do is they sweep it all off and clean this up afterwards. I mean, that's normally what happens. And so you have less stone floating around that is loose.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on the video I do today, because they need to know that.
Right. Now, mind you, some of these roads, depending on the price that comes back, may have to be delayed until next year. Like I said, until we get a complete quote, we won't know for sure.
At the restaurant.
My wife is
you're gonna-
interrupting this meeting, okay? So I could not listen because what is the question, dear? No. Okay, sorry, guys. I've got to
So this
start
is gonna go
locking
to
her. I got to lock her in a room, Nick. Is that against the law?
So this has got to go to the county engineer first to get a bid book, to get an estimate, right?
Right. This way they have our okay to come on our roadways, look at stuff, and then put together an estimate. And then if we move forward, a bid book then.
Okay.
Wonderful.
This motion is just telling them that it's okay to do that.
All right.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to send to Portage County the listed roads from Dave for chip and seal inspection for potential bid.
I will second that, Nick.
Okay, all those in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Hey, Dave, I just want to tell you publicly, man, you guys are doing a great job on the roads. They've never looked this good. I hope people appreciate it. And I mean, we appreciate them voting on the levy. We want to be able to do it any other way, but I mean, they've got to know the difference. Cause you know, me being here a few years, I remember how they were. And I mean, it's total renovation. It's a great job.
Well, we're trying. We're trying to spend.
Yeah, you know,
wisely. Is what we're
well, and
doing.
it takes time to get everything fixed up. You know, the roads needed a lot of work. It took some time to get there, but you're starting to see the cycle happen and maintaining what we've invested in. And just the road work that our crews do out there too. I second what Mike says. You know, our workers are top notch. We appreciate all the hard work they're doing, and really happy with how our roads and just our properties are looking. So make sure you're telling them thank you for us.
And you know, Nick, with the success of our social media and stuff, I think maybe we ought to just put a little video together on the road so people understand what we're doing, you know? So they, you know, I mean, the more information they give them, the more they understand. I mean, you know, because like I said, without these levies, we would go back to where we were. And,
Right.
I mean, because, just the word chip and seal scares people. But if they understood what the process was, maybe what I ought to do is when they start one of these is get down there with Dave. And, he's got that face made for movies. And we'll do a little video on that. If I can just clean up his language a little bit, that would be. No, we don't need to clean up that language. That's from the heart.
This is
That's right.
This is how construction workers really talk. So
We might have to get his hair put up in a ponytail or put up under the hat, but I wish I had hair like him. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Dave.
all right, that concludes my report then.
Actually, Dave, hold on one sec. You want to come pick the contract stuff? I got it signed over at the county. So it's all done for the Sugar Maple Hills project.
Okay. Now, do the trustees still got to sign it?
No, it's all done.
Oh, it's completely done?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Do you
perfect.
want to come pick it up?
Yes, I was going to actually talk to you that after the meeting about it. so.
Okay.
Yep,
Yep,
that's
we're all good. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right. Hearing no further questions, we'll move into Parks and Rec. Cassie, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
It's been very, very, very busy in the Parks Department lately. If I look tired, that's why. So old business, very excited to say that the playground should be finished this week. If you haven't been over there lately, it looks really, really good. They're
It sure
putting the
does.
finishing touches on everything. He said they're laying grass seed down. They're finishing up all the mulch work and that. And he sent me the dump truck is almost complete. That's going to be installed by the end of this week. They had a little bit of a delay because of the weather, but very excited to have that open. I've had a lot of residents ask me about it, so happy to have
Can you,
that done.
Shoot me a text message when he's done so I can run over and do a video of the
Yeah.
playground equipment. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, Nick and Cassie, what about when it's all done? Getting the police department down there with their new grill to cook some hot dogs and we can go down there and, I don't know, we got that shelter. I know
Sure,
somebody
that's a great idea.
I know somebody that'll donate hot dogs and stuff. So
Okay,
I think that would, we get the trust, what about getting the trustees down there together and just, what I
Right.
mean?
do ribbon
That's an
cutting.
option.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it'd be a great way where we can get down there and talk about parks and get people to come out and walk the trails. I mean, I don't want anything super crazy, but just a good event.
Yeah, it seems like a
not
little weekend
not
get together.
Yeah, not a lot of planning, just Nick and I, Sue cooking hot dogs. We can pass out some beers. No, I'm just kidding. Root beer. Root beer. Okay, enough of me. Cut me off.
And then I definitely want to make that a highlight of Touch a Truck too. I'll definitely make sure people go and see it when they come in. We'll do something to draw people over there. So that'll be a nice kind of built-in opener for the playground.
That's great.
Volleyball court renovation, I'll admit that kind of went on the back burner for a little bit because I've been working on some other projects, but this week I'm going to order new nets. Dave and I discussed it. We think that the existing posts can stay there. That'll save us a lot of money on that project because looking at replacing all of the posts and everything was a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And if they're already in good shape, why not keep them? So we'll just get some new nets and that'll really help out over there. Parks events, I was very excited to finally have my first in-person program since March of 2020. Last week, I did a lunch and learn program from 12 to 1:30 at the park. We talked about frogs and toads. We only had 2 participants, but they had a really great personal program, and I made some good contacts with residents, so that was very nice. July and August program calendar has been posted to the web. It will be posted to social media after this meeting because I noticed that I messed up something and I have to fix it. So it'll be posted later today. I have a first Family Fun Friday program this Friday, which is a tie-dye program. We had 15 people register, so that's really great. Excited that people are getting excited for parks programs. And then, of course, Touch a Truck is Saturday, June 19th, coming up very quickly. So putting the finishing touches on that. Touching back on the part-time parks employee that we discussed at our last meeting, we talked about setting the pay rate for this position. John and I sat down and talked about it, and I would like to submit for board approval to set the pay rate for the part-time parks assistant at $11 an hour.
Well, I mean, I can make I'm going to make a motion in the positive that we set the rate for $11 for the part-time position.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
My my concern is I really think we need to be at least the $12 to $13 range, so we can attract. I mean, you can work at McDonald's for $15, and I know there's some talk about holding out for this intern, but we just gotta we need to get somebody in there. I don't care how we do it, but we got to get somebody in there. And I'm afraid with the internship, I'm afraid we are way too late, because they're all done. We're all the kids are all already in internships till the fall. So I just want to give her the tools, like we said. So I guess this is probably not the discussion for this now. I mean, I guess we're setting the rate, so let's just stick with that.
Well, Mike, just so you know where Cassie and I went, we looked at all the other park rates across the area, and we're actually right about in the middle of where everybody else's park rates are for part-time employees. So I think we're okay with where we're at. Just because we looked at that field of what all, I mean, Cassie, what's the one in Summit County? What's it called? Cassie?
I know we talked about Lake Metro Parks was hiring at like 9. I know Summit Metro Parks was hiring seasonals at I think 10.
Yeah, Summit Metro. So we're over the
I've
norm.
seen, between 10 and like 13 seems to be about the norm.
Let's just see how that
10 and
goes,
what?
Mike.
What was the last number? 10
like 10 to 13.
Okay.
And my only concern with the pay, Mike, is, and I know we want to attract people, but we also have to be aware of what we're paying our other staff. And being a part-time parks position, I can't see edging them too close to what our secretarial staff is paying. Don't get me wrong, I love parks. I think they're important, but the work there's a difference in the workload and responsibility, and the pay has to represent that workload and responsibility. Otherwise, we got to reevaluate bumping everybody's pay, and I don't think that's a financially wise decision at this point for the township.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
And that's something we looked at too.
well, I just, like I said, I mean, I'll go with whatever. I just want to make sure we can attract some people, because I think we're being hindering things by not getting somebody in there.
No, I agree. I
that
think
the parks can be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think that we just have to look at our pay structures for the other departments too, because we had transitioned from just saying, hey, when we hire somebody, we're going to guess at what we pay them, to an actual pay structure process a few months back. So I think we need to look at what that pay structure is and compare those and what the job responsibilities are for those structures.
Okay.
Okay, we want to vote?
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
So then I will update the job description and repost it on the website after the meeting.
Okay.
And then the next Parks Advisory Committee meeting is Thursday, June 17th at 6:30 p.m. We had our first in-person meeting last month. It went super well. We saw Fox. It was awesome. So happy to have in-person meetings. New business, our facility rentals opened on June 1st. So I am going to be prepping the community center for our first rentals this weekend. They are filling up. Every weekend is booked in June and July. August is filling up fast. So I kind of anticipated that. So we'll see how that goes. I think it'll go well. And then my main focus lately has been on the Brimfield Community Days, or whatever, that's what I've been tentatively calling it, the fall event on September 17th and 18th. I have been busy booking food trucks, bands, and entertainment. I have a meeting with the Kelso House this Friday at 11:30 to discuss more things with them. So.
All right. Sounds good. If you need help with anything, please let me know. I'm excited to see the community days come. I think we should highlight this, Mike, a little bit too. I know I heard from somebody this weekend when I was out at Hartville that we weren't having Brimfest. And in fact, I heard it at the Memorial Day service too. Why is Township getting rid of Brimfest? And that's not the intention of this. This is a temporary thing. It's going to be just like Brimfest with the exception of not having carnival rides, because obviously we need to preserve the soccer field to give them a year to let the grass grow and set its roots. That and the parade, but there wasn't enough time to prepare for a parade with the COVID restrictions just now getting lifted. That's a big undertaking to happen. So this is Brimfest just without a parade or the carnival rides. There's going to be tons of other things to do. And I anticipate seeing Brimfest back here next year with the parade and the additional attractions.
Right. And Nick, when I do that little video this week, I'll make sure we put it in there. So, I mean, and when you do the one the following week, just make sure you put it in there. We just got to constantly remind people.
Yeah, and I don't know how the misnomer started that we weren't having Brimfest, that Brimfest was done for. You know, there's a lot of people who were upset. They said this is a cornerstone of our community. It's an event that happens every year. And that's why we pushed for community days. We just knew we were under a tight timeline because we didn't know what COVID restrictions were going to be. And I mean, in fact, we're sitting here today and they just got officially lifted. So we had to wait for health orders from both the county and the state before we could do anything.
Well, Nick, I'm going to do the video today. Do you want to just do sometime next week, a small video on Brimfest?
We could possibly do it. Let's just see how they respond to when you do your video and see if we hear any more. I mean, I think things are starting to calm down. People are starting to see the vision of it. I just want to keep the community informed.
Yeah, the big thing I always worry about, and like I've told you guys before, only 32% of the people use Facebook. We really have to start embracing other means of, there's just so many people we still got to get through to. And then like my daughter told me, only old people use Facebook now. I don't think I'm old, but it is what it is.
It poses a question too that I had a note for to ask during comments, but I'll just ask it now. I don't know if anybody in here knows. Where are we at of the status of the postcards? We were supposed to have that original mailer go out. I saw the order go in for it, but I haven't seen a postcard arrive in my mailbox.
Right.
Mike, have you seen one yet?
No, I have not.
Because really we should be getting that July post, because the quarterly one would be July, August, September. So the July one should be being built right now and getting ready to send out. Which will have July, August, and September. So that would have the Brimfest information on it too. So that's just another way for us to hit all the residents.
Well,
so one, we need to make sure that initial card is out. Two, we should make sure that we're advertising Brimfest on the quarterly card that gets released. Should be out for mailing in July.
Right. We'll have to check with Rochelle, see where we're at.
All right, John's checking right now to get us an update. Because remember, the first card was just, hey, this is an announcement of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sending out quarterly postcards from the trustees, talking about all the events that are going to be taking place between parks, police, fire, zoning, whatever it is, any special events we have going on, including Brimfest. So this is just a secondary way to get it in people's hands. I did see the order, but I just haven't seen them show up in my mailbox yet.
Right.
Because then I know they take a little while to process and build. So really we should be, Cassie, we should have parks plans all the way through September so that we can be building that postcard and probably submitting that to the publisher here in the next 7 days. So we should have that mapped out and that flyer ready to go.
Okay.
I think they're checking now to see the status of it.
One thing I have had success with too is I started making calendars with, do I have one handy while we're waiting?
Nick, the estimated arrival was supposed to be 5:30. Vistaprint's the one that sends them out though. So Rochelle's calling Vistaprint right now to find out. But
Okay,
they're
so well,
estimated
5:30, they,
Yeah.
knowing the post office that, I mean, that was just Sunday. Yeah, so they may be
They
coming
should
this
be there
week.
this week, hopefully. But Rochelle's
But
gonna
with that
double-check right
said, John, we need to talk with staff today because we probably have less than 7 days to build the car to be out for July 1st then. Because
Okay.
remember, it's supposed to be July, August, September should be the next quarter one. So we need to get that built up, at least send it to myself, Mike, and Sue to email just to look at it real quick with a
Right.
1-day turnaround for our review. And then let's get it out to print because I want to make sure everybody knows about all the events coming up this summer.
Right.
Okay.
And then Chris, if you're listening, and Craig, if you're listening, if you have any special events that you want to advertise on that card too, lunch with a cop, hot dogs with cop, breakfast with fire, whatever that is, let us know. We'll have Rochelle will be contacting you. We're going to do this every quarter. So if there's anything you want advertised of a special event for meet and greet or whatever, we need to get that to Rochelle, and Rochelle should be contacting you this week. So if you're listening to Rochelle, do that. John, remind her.
Yes.
Thanks.
You
Does
got it.
that, does that work for you, Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
I've been making printable calendars too to hand out. They've been pretty helpful. I have program descriptions on one side, printable calendar on the other. So when I have events, then I leave them out in the park brochure holders. When I saw somebody walk in the park, little kid showed me a bug. I'm like, hey, we have a bug program coming up. Handed it to them. They said they're going to be there. So I find that works out really well too.
Very
Okay.
good.
All right. Anything else under parks? All right. Hearing none, then we'll move into cemetery. There is no business under cemetery for this meeting. I will give a quick update. We had our Memorial Day service though. It went well. I'd say we had about 25 people in attendance at that. We also recorded and live streamed that because we know there was families that may not have been able to make it out due to COVID. And also we thought this was a good way to reach those families that may no longer live here in Brimfield, but have people laid to rest at the cemetery, especially with those that were in the military. Just gives them a chance to attend the service without being here in Brimfield. So I think that went well. I want to especially say thank you to Rochelle for getting that together, being there on Memorial Day and getting everything going for us. Fiscal office, there's no old business, but you have second half 2021 advances, John?
Yes, I need to get an approval to request the 2021 second half advances from Portage County.
I will make
I'll
that
make,
motion, John.
Okay.
I will second that.
All right. All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
All right. Nothing else under fiscal office at this time. We
Nope.
do have an executive session. Anything for the good of the order before we go into executive session? Because I know the department heads will pop off and won't be here after that.
Yeah, Nick, I just wanted to give you an update. I did talk to Todd here. So the commissioners did meet and they did amend it. They are accepting bonds for the subdivision regulations, and they did approve that. But now the county prosecutor's office said that they're not the final say on it, that regional planning is the final say on the subdivision regs, and we will be meeting June 9th at 4:30 p.m. And as you know, I'm on that board, so I'll make sure everything happens.
When did the county commissioners meet on that subdivision
Yesterday.
regulations?
Yesterday morning, he said. There was
Okay.
no invite that was sent out, so.
Okay. All right. We'll talk later. I just want to see what else got changed in that to see if they heard stuff from Town too.
Nothing else, no changes from the Home Builder Association or Rootstown, just Brimfield's request.
Okay. So we're still not going to get signature then on the acceptance of roads. We just take what we get.
So far as what I can understand, I will address that with Rootstown at regional planning as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, even if we can get regional planning to make that change, I think it's important that Dave and all the road superintendents in Portage County have a voice in the acceptance of those roads.
Yes. And my suggestion after reading into that would be if the county is hiring an engineering firm to do the inspection and to perform all this for us, that it could come from the engineering firm to the township before it even goes to the county.
Okay. Yeah, however we got to work that, we just need a word because I'm tired of getting these roads that explode like sugar maple, and then we were spending $200,000 of our taxpayer money because we didn't get to say, no, we're not satisfied with how that road looks.
Right.
Yep.
I am happy that we're getting engineering firms to inspect. That's a huge plus. I think that's going to be a great asset. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. If not, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session. John, can you read that section for me?
Yeah, it's number 7, to consider confidential information related to marketing plans, specific business strategies, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, provided that both of the following conditions are met. The information is directly related to the request for economic development assistance. Unanimous quorum of the public body determines by roll call that the executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicants. So,
All right. So that's my motion.
Okay.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
In attendance for this meeting will be the trustees, the fiscal officer, Mike Ladd, our zoning and economic director. Anybody else, Mike, that you need there?
I'm good.
Mike
Ladd, you're on mute. You're
Yeah.
on mute.
I said if Craig wants to attend as well, it's up to him.
All right. So we'll have Craig also in attendance as the administrative supervisor. Roll call for
Okay, all those in favor,
Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Nick?
yes.
Okay, we are in executive session at 9:21. So Brian, can you shut off the tape? I just got a note.
Okay, we're
Yep,
live and
there it is.
recording.
All right. So we're out of executive session. No action today from this. Anything else for the good of the order?
I have
Hearing
nothing.
none, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that, Nick.
Okay, we are adjourning at 9:33. All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, we are done. You guys have the rest of a good week.